at this disclosure. It is 11:46. We're about to do our midday call. I do it a few times a week, and I had a few moments to step away, so I wanted to do it. Hopefully you read the disclosure. My name is Scott Rutherford, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's midday video that is for everybody, not just Red All Access. I actually did a quick little video on Twitter this morning, which we'll get into and update that. But as far as the markets, it's been not an easy day. I came in this morning, we saw the news that China put in doubt the long-term viability of the deal, and pre-morning call, when I have a bunch of positions, sometimes I add to them. So I did add to some of my SPYs. I added to some Microsoft. Just because I sold them into strength so I could buy some on the dip. By the time I sat back down, the SPYs were almost flat. And if you're part of Red All Access, I tweet a little bit here and there what I'm doing. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to get back to what I was long overnight because I just took advantage of, the morning volatility. But then come, 10 o'clock, the markets were back at the lows and it was definitely a little tricky, and then kind of found our footing. So let's just get into it. If you look here, basically they shook the tree up a little bit again. How did they do that? They took us below 3,032, which was a pivot that we talked about, and then they even got us a little bit below 3,026. But then what happened? We did not stay below. We did not fall apart. We held the 8-day and made a low of 3,023, and then rallied back. So, granted, not the easiest thing to maneuver, but again, not the end of the world. I think we're just a tiny bit little spoiled into that zone. When you're above the 8-day moving average and you're extended from it, sometimes you do test it a few times. And right here, it's been testing it a few times. So anyway, kind of held, and now we're building a bit of a flag, and then we'll see what happens here. We're definitely absorbed some news out of China. There's some news on, the House and the impeachment, blah, blah, blah. So you had to be a bit more careful. So, in my morning note today, which I write every day that goes out to Red All Access at 8:30, I talked about, buying Tesla to go green, to put together a plan to buy Apple, hoping that Apple would hold 245 or make a 5 to 15 to 30 minute low, and then buy it, verse it to see if I can get back involved, which I did, which we'll go over that strategy. Hopefully you made some money there. Facebook was definitely a little choppier. And then let's just get into some of the other trades. So as of right now, where's Apple? Let's do that one first. Apple is right back towards, the all-time high area. So this is good. Okay. How could you have played it if you did not come in long? This right here, by the way, was an out of sequence print. This did not happen. It never got back below 245. So 245 was a great spot to trade against. It's maybe you got a paper cut or two here and there, but all in all, if you bought it once first, the 5-minute or 15-minute low, or even the 30-minute low, you were able to sit tight. And now it's 248.70. If you look at the intraday chart, it's easier to see. So, here you go. This was the number that we talked about this morning. It did not get below it. That's 245 is down here. So you had your first initial move up, and then it trickled. So really, the trade didn't quite, I would think, turn on until like right here. So if just say, you said, I'm going to wait, because the market was under pressure. Basically made a low, higher low. Then right here, when it kind of broke this little descending trend line, for the day, that was your spot to get a little either add if you were in it, or start it. And now we'll see what happens here. We're back towards the highs in the morning, and sometimes that does bring in some resistance. So see how it, and how it handles this spot. I'd love to see it now hold above this for a bit, consolidate, and then maybe make an attempt to take that out. That would be pretty healthy. And then here's the all-time highs. But ultimately, this was your gap up. Came in, gave you, this actually was an hourly low. So sometimes an hourly low is stronger. And then now this could be your stop. So 245 is your stop. Try and be an Apple the next few days moving forward and see how that does for you. I think it'll do just fine. I'm hoping I'm in it, so we'll see. I also went over, Microsoft with you. Said I was buying the dip because I've been trading around it. So if you look here on Microsoft, ultimately, this was the similar trade that we were talking about, in that meeting, saying, hey, this was your day after earnings. You could have been a buyer versus this spot. You could have also added when it took out this spot. And then, you had that big gap up on the big Jedi win and the cloud win. And I was selling some, obviously, 145 and change, which I do tweet to Red All Access. I'll let you guys know what I'm doing. And the VTF actually sees those trades live. And then, to this day, I bought a little bit back yesterday. was a nice move. Trading around it. I still have a core. And now today made a higher low. You could have bought it red and went green. And now it's still above this. This could be your stop. The longer it stays above this, the better. We'll see. Amazon had a little bit better than it's been today. Still couldn't get above the 200-day. Was one of the first to go green. I was long it overnight. I traded around it. I didn't do such a great job. Now you could say this is your stop right here. Where is it now? It's 1780. We'll see. It hit a high of 1792. It's still decent. I don't like when they push through and kind of fail. This right now, I'm in it. My stop would be the morning low, which is 1771. So we'll see. Google is a little weaker. I didn't touch Google today. Wow, it's close to the lows. Google also, did not execute the way some of the other companies executed, and it was that high, so it needs more time. And this looks to me that if it breaks this, 1240 is next. I'm not touching that for now. Twitter's interesting. Gave you a little bit of a move off the lows. Didn't quite reclaim this yet. Some guys in my office are trading it. I did tweet to Rather All Access once it put the low in at like whatever this was, 28.84. I bought some at like 29.10, and I'm still in some. I don't know if it's going to go green. I don't know if today's going to mark a major reversal, but sometimes when you get a huge, enormous event, after a big move lower, they try and, hammer out a low. There was a lot of calls, what's it called? Whatever they call it, call sweeps that people were pointing out, and then there was also some big blocks in the dark market that nobody was looking at. So maybe that's it. But again, it just trades. How could you have traded this with a low amount of risk? Well, it was right here. So this was, your push through low, and then this was the first time, you had a little potency to the upside. So, all my guys were talking about it, and I actually didn't get the low here. I bought it right around here when I'm like, you know what? I could give it 20 cents worth of risk or whatever this is, and then that happened. And now, I guess if you want to be really, really tight, you could, say this is your stop, 29.30 or the morning low. But hopefully, in order for this to get better, in order for this to maybe fill the gap, I would think this holds. So like while I go to the gym at lunchtime, what I'll do is I'll put a stop in below this. If it starts trading below this, then, or it actually could still see this and be okay. But I guess you could still see that and be okay. But again, these type of things, like if you're gonna have a reversal in a broken name, it's got to be fast. People have to feel like they missed something, so it really shouldn't break that. So you could put maybe a stop at some there, and then a stop at some at 15, or you could put it at the low. Depends on how busy you are or how active you are. Facebook. This was difficult. I actually bought some in here, and then I got stopped out on the morning low, which is fine. It's better than not. Quick move down, came up, figured I could buy a dip. I said I'm going to give it to the 5-minute low. This was your 5-minute low or 2-minute low, and then it broke, and then it had a decent move off of it. And now I would say if you could try and be long versus 192, I guess. That you have to give it that much room, and if that's $2, it's definitely a little bit more wishy-washy. Looks like we're rolling over a little bit here. What's Apple doing? Oh, Apple's hanging out here. Now if I was sitting at my desk, which I'm not, I'm on my workstation, maybe I would even buy it through here. But I am long it, and we'll see if it gets through there. That'd be nice. What's Amazon doing on that? All right. Oh, Amazon just got back above this. Okay, that's cool. It's acting pretty well for itself. Netflix got hit pretty fast, but that to me is more of a vulnerable stock than strong stock. Why do I say that? Well, got sold off on numbers. It did hold this spot, 286. So what I say, Netflix is trying to prove it's not broken. It needs to hold 277.50 to keep any interest from the recent move. Oh, that's actually old, but this was the level here. Anyway, it held it for now. Roku came in a little bit, but held. Oh, I drew this morning. Held that. So decent move off there as they shook the tree a little bit. Tesla went from red to green and hanging out in here. This is the inside range. The last 2 days you could have bought it down $1.50 to go up $2.50 just for tactical trades. And yes, as active traders that trade for a living, we look for tactical trades. I've been trying to hold a Bank of America swing for 2 weeks, and I sold a lot up above 32. So I did start buying this morning closer to 31.26, and then a little bit below 31, and it still probably needs some time. But again, it didn't quite get to here, so I guess this is our new point of reference for now. It did break the 8-day. I sold the JP Morgan calls, which was, I was long and short. Ooh, long short hedge fund, Redler. No, I'm kidding. I'm a prop trader. But anyway, this is now your point of reference. This is 30.82. So I guess move this up for now. That's what you know. The 21 days below it, but for today now, that's that. Where are the SPYs? Still hanging around here, packing and filling. So in conclusion, it's 11:57. Definitely a little back and forth, which tends to happen after the Fed day. Usually you get a counter day of what the day was during Fed day, and we were up 100 and change, so we went down 200 and change. Some of the old rules don't apply, so it's hard to figure that out. At least if you did come in, long from yesterday, you had a way to buy some things that did go green to, salvage it, which is what I say. And then, you had the quick whoosh down where maybe you got stopped out of things and then got back in them versus low if you saw some divergences. At this point, I'm still sitting in a bunch of things I'm trying to navigate as a swing. Now, Apple is one of my new swings versus the morning low. I'm still in Microsoft from last week. I'm still in Bank of America that I had very little on. I was actually net short with my calls that I bought some. I'm still in some SPYs. Now I'm, versus the morning low. Trading Tesla, not in it now. Watching Google, it's off to the side. Tesla, Amazon, it's got to prove that that it's not going to be so loose and wide. So far, so good. And Roku, I'm giving it some time because we had a nice trade from, way back when. Remember Yom Kippur trade? That was a great trade. Holy cow, down here. And then there was another great trade through here for a lot of guys. And now it's just resetting up. So continue to keep doing your work. I hope everyone has a great time for Halloween tonight with your kids, with your friends, with your family, whatever you do. And I'll see Red Roll Access to recap. Hopefully you're having a good day, and hopefully my quick little Twitter video about how to enter Apple with a plan helped you, because I think a lot of guys made some good money there. Have a good one.